if you talk to a little kid and ask them what are their favorite parts of the Bible, well, are they going to start reciting Psalms or Proverbs? No.
Talk to us about the importance of sharing stories and testimonies.
Yeah, great question, Yvette. I think about the Bible itself. It starts off with a story, right? It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and it tells the story. And Genesis is just one big story, actually. Genesis and then Exodus and so much of the Bible. In fact, if you talk to a little kid and ask them what are their favorite parts of the Bible, well, are they going to start reciting Psalms or Proverbs? No. Instead, they're going to tell you about David and Goliath, or Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace, or Daniel in the lion's den. They're going to tell you these stories because that's what we resonate with, especially even as little children. I remember as a kid, I would be at Sunday at church, and I would be falling asleep in the sermon or drawing or doodling or whatever. But as soon as the pastor started to tell a story, and it could have been a Bible story, it could have been him like, last week I was like mowing my grass, and like immediately though, I would always tune in to hear the story. Like what's it going to say? What happened next? And it's just something that our brains are hardwired for storytelling. Mm-hmm. That's something that's a powerful tool that we have as Christians, is our story or the story of others that we know personally, how God has changed or transformed their own life. So that way, when we're challenged about our faith and like, how can that be true? How can that be real? We can always testify and say like, hey, I know it's true because I saw God change my own life, or I saw God change this other person's life. And I think, again, go back to the New Testament, right? Like the four gospels, they all start off with a story. They're all telling the story of Jesus Christ, right? And again, Jesus, when he's talking to people, what is he telling? He's telling them the stories through the parables. Again, stories are such powerful ways to illustrate what God is doing or how God has transformed someone's life. And so that's why we love making the Compelled podcast.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so funny because, you look at different subjects that we teach our kids, and we could teach history or we could teach science. And science, I think, is absolutely fascinating. But not everyone's brain is hardwired to understand all of the details of science, right? Like we can understand it as a whole. But when you then switch over to history, it's a story. And it's just a different part of your brain that can focus and hone in on like, oh, this is actually about real people and something that happened in their lives. And with God's word, it's the same way, is that we learn through history. We learn through the Bible who God is, how he works in people's lives and through people's lives, and every attribute of God simply through a story. There are parts of the Bible that say, God is this, God is that. But most often it seems that we learn about his attributes through stories in his word that we know to be true. Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.